baby. Why don't you let me in? Oh, baby.
Welcome, everyone, to the Bear Defense Podcast. My name's Isaiah.
My name's Eric.
We're on episode 17. And, Eric, last time, last season, we were a little bit on different. We had more episodes in the beginning of the season. So, our last episode last year was episode 18. And as you know, episode 18 was when we won our 18th banner.
Yep.
Well, episode 17 of this season is not quite like that at all, one bit. The Celtics, if this is breaking news, this is really our breaking news segment, just about the Celtics and being out of the playoffs really quick. I think sooner than most people expected. To sum up, Celtics lost the first two games. And they were up by 20 in the third quarter. Tatum, game 4, 5, I forget. It was later in the series.
It was a game right before the elimination game.
Okay.
He tore his Achilles, I believe.
Okay, so I think game 5 then. Out for the playoffs entirely. And to close the series, we lost by 38. So we're going to go through some questions here. And just kind of, have us cope.
Mhm.
Have us try to figure
I know
out.
you mentioned you wanted to wear black today.
Yeah, we're wearing dark. This is kind of like our funeral, the death of the Celtics, and maybe not just this season. We might get to that later, but what the future holds for this team, this core team. Eric, I guess I'll start off with this question for you. What went wrong?
It's so frustrating because both of those games, game 1 and game 2, the Celtics, like you mentioned, they were up by 20 points. And if you do want to put the blame on anyone, you got to put it on Joe Mazzulla because it's, players are responsible for those performances on the court, but then the coach's job is to stop those boosts of momentum. And you've got to call timeouts. You've got to switch up the strategy if you need to. And a lot of threes weren't landing. So I think that as a coach, you got to accept that this isn't working and be able to accept that and move on.
Yeah, when you say not threes were landing here, I'll give you a quick statistic here. We were 25 from 100.
As I go,
This is going to be This is going to be the sound of this episode. Okay, the trombone. 25 for 100. Okay, we were. I forget which game, but one game we were 15 for. One game we were 15 for 60. One game we were, I think, 10 for 40. So yeah, 25 for 100. Our offense was just stagnant. Like you said, it didn't change. If we weren't hitting threes, we just kept throwing them up. Like that's the only thing we do. And yes, we won with this kind of offense. Yes, we won with shooting the most threes and making the most threes in NBA history, whatever. But when they don't land, when they are not falling, there has to be a plan B. And with Joe, and I love putting blame on Joe. It's
how's your chance?
My specialties. Joe, but I also got to include Tatum and Brown because they are the stars of this team. Are there actually a quick side note? Are there captains?
That was a good question. I'm not sure if there's official captains to the team, but if it was, I would assume it'd either be Tatum, Brown, or Tatum and Brown.
Right. Which is actually fascinating. That may be for another conversation. But they're, so to speak, the captains of this team. And not only if they do want to switch from not shooting threes, it's ISO ball. It's holding the ball in their hands and trying to create their own shots, which, again, they have the capability of doing. But and we're going to get to the, Eastern Western Conference Finals, after we talk about the Celtics. But watching the Pacers-Knicks game, I watched it last night, the second half of the game. I'm like, the Celtics did this type of ball movement and getting the right shot. I mean, that's the formula. That's the formula. And they didn't get to it. So, just disappointment. You know, I had a Knicks friend I was texting. Shout out to Jakku, back and forth about you know what was going through my mind, and he was obviously super happy and stuff, and tried to trash talk, but I was like, I don't feel confident whatsoever.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they won the battle, but we won the war. Like, we got the championship, so.
I know. Oh, we'll see. They could win one. They could win. They could win one.
Yeah.
You kind of touched on this next question, Eric, but who's most to blame? You kind of mentioned Joe Mazzulla. Is that the main person, or are there other people who you may blame?
Hmm. Well, I'm gonna say that for definitely game 6, or was it game 5? I forgot how long the series really went.
Yeah,
But it was that Friday.
games. It was
Yeah.
6 games, yeah.
I remember I invited Cam over. You know Cam?
And you invite. Oh, I know Cam. I know Cam.
Yeah. But yeah, I invited him over, and by like almost towards the end of the third quarter, he's like, "All right, I'm just gonna head out. Like, we're done here."
Yeah,
So he got some McDonald's.
yeah,
My idea.
yeah.
And then he left for the night. But to answer your question, like to put the blame on, I still have to say Joe Mazzulla mostly. But then, like you said, Tatum and Brown the stars of the team. And for that last game where they lost by 30 points, last season Brown was saying, maybe there were rumors, but he was saying he wanted to be the star of the team, have his own, be the face of his own team.
Yeah.
And on Friday night last week, he had that chance to be the Celtics face. And in the opportunity, they blew it.
Yep.
So I don't want to bring Brown for the whole series, but he finally got his big opportunity and then he squashed it.
Yeah, and I mean, not too long ago he was NBA Finals MVP, right? So it was like, oh, maybe he can take a team far. But I thought Game 5, I don't know how much they won, but they won that game, and I was like, okay, like I like maybe it seemed like they had a little more ball movement. It seemed like I think Jalen in one of the press conferences after the game was like, we need to if we're not making the three, we need to do something else, and that felt like oh, okay, maybe there's a shift. And then game 6, they kind of went back to their formula of what that was. So yeah, my the three big J's: Joe, Jalen, and Jason. And I guess this leads to the last question we have. But if I'm gonna make a change, I'm done with the Joe Mazzulla experiment. I am. Especially if he's not gonna change his tactics, his skill set. Maybe one of his better aspects was him winning the locker room and getting all these players together, and that is a great thing. But I can't watch this offense anymore. And if he doesn't want to change it, then we got to change on our end and get him out. I'm kind of maybe that's not even our bigger issue. I don't know. I've had some Devin and Chris, and we have a chat and stuff from Charter. We had a chat, and Devin was like, we got to get rid of Tatum. Like Tatum is our kryptonite. I'm like, oh, I mean, like I don't like he's really good still. I think if it's not even like it's not the pieces. We had the best pieces around any star player in the league. I think it's just this style of coaching, and if we can get someone else to capture the locker room like Joe did, I guess, but have a different basketball mindset, basketball mentality, I take that.
Yeah, I've seen coaches get fired for a lot less than Joe Mazzulla. In a sense, like there's been at least I think 2 coaches a year who got fired.
Dwayne Casey, yeah, I remember one was one of them. Yeah,
Dwayne Casey. And I think that the Celtics still have a really strong team in the sense that they do need a strong coach. But if you get rid of Joe Mazzulla, like the team's not really gonna drastically tank.
Mm-hmm.
But getting rid of someone like Tatum, I still feel like he's the face of the Celtics, and he does get a lot of criticism. He's actually considered the most criticized player in the league. Some of it is like legit. I know he does a lot of step back threes. I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah.
But he's a really solid player, and if he left the Celtics, I think we're back in rebuild mode.
Yep. And I don't. Again, we're over the salary cap, so there's obviously people are gonna leave, right? I mean, you had here in the notes Holiday, White, Porzingis, like those are some of the. I personally, I'm keeping White out of those 3. Drew and Porzingis. Out of those 3, I'm probably letting go of Porzingis. I don't have the numbers for the contracts and stuff, but just for the sole fact that he's not on the court enough for me to pay him as much as we're paying him. I as fun as he's been on this team, and it's been like when we acquired him, that was kind of like big three time, and I would say he was the third piece to Tatum and Brown, but he's too inconsistent in terms of being on and off the court. So I would go Porzingis, but I mean, if you talk, there's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be very fascinating. I mean, you talk about. And I'm not relating to the Celtics at all, but when you have Giannis and Jokic like potentially on the not the chopping block, but wanting to leave maybe or get traded, there's gonna be a lot of pieces with all stars moving around, and if the Celtics want to go the route of acquiring someone big, probably Brown's gonna have to go too.
Oh yeah, Brown's contract is massive,
Yeah.
and like you said, Porzingis, he's someone who I would be comfortable with letting go and still having a similar structure of what they've been doing recently. He's really amazing on the court, but he's just not there enough to really hold a consistent impact. If he left, I think he's like 30 million a year, so to cut off some fat of that. But then I think you would have to move either Holiday or White. And if it came to that, I would also agree Holiday, his age, he's a veteran, he's a good player. I met him,
Yeah, that's
love
right.
meeting him.
That's right. Yeah.
But I'd definitely rep him in a different jersey or a different team.
Yeah.
So I agree. I would keep White most.
Yeah. I mean, hey, well, we're gonna have to. I was almost tempted to say, we'll just develop Cornet or Kada.
Maybe Kada.
I was, yeah. Kata's. I think, definitely still raw, and he's not the offensive, player that Porzingis is. Not even close. But with rebounding and defense, shot blocker, there's potential there. If they want to go that route, I think they're probably gonna want to search, but if you go the cheaper route and you go the more reliable, like he's on the court more, I'll be okay with that. Again, if Porzingis is out of the way, because again, we have plenty of offensive star power. It's the question is not about like can we score more or like that's going to be a huge drop in our offense. No, like we've got a ton of players to make up for that. Like Pritchard too could have a increased role and 6 man of the year. Like I think at this point I would trust him to get an increased role moving forward. So, but yeah, that is
Yeah, more so, right? So I don't think it's gonna really happen this summer. But ultimately, I think you're gonna have to choose between Holiday slash White and Porzingis, like a guard and Porzingis,
yeah.
or Jalen Brown. So if you had to choose right between keeping Porzingis and one of the guards or Jalen Brown, like which would you rather have?
Are we just saying like are they would they be considered equal value in terms of trade assets? Like if I were to get I'm not saying we'd get Jokic like this, but if we got Jokic for Jalen Brown or Jokic for Porzingis and another guard, and other assets, whatever. But it's like equal. Like, are they equal in terms of like? Would you say theoretically?
Honestly, I would have to like sit down and look at the salary caps,
Sure.
but I'm pretty sure Brown's contract is like Porzingis plus one of the guards.
Okay. So let's say hypothetically they're the same,
Yep.
which makes it hard for me to think. Because again, the Porzingis injury. I may lean towards getting rid of Brown. I think I would lean if I'm acquiring the same thing. At least I still have I have two players instead of one, so I have more assets on my side that I've kept who have been in the core, and you have your star player Tatum. I don't know who you'd trade for Brown. I don't know like what specific player you'd get, but if you're getting not Brown level or Tatum like all like a superstar, but like a Siakam for instance, like someone who is very reliable and in the playoffs, is pretty has some pretty good stats. So that's a good question. I'm probably leaning towards Brown. At this point, if the other thing too you got to think about with Tatum's injury, we don't know what he's gonna. Hopefully, he's good, right? Like, hopefully, he's back to
Yeah,
where he
I think
is.
Kevin Durant went through the same surgery.
Oh, same thing.
Yeah, and of course he's older now, but after he came back, he seems like he's still productive.
Sure, that's true. That's true. So if that's the case, then I feel pretty confident. So yeah, we've got a superstar. We have enough pieces around Tatum. I say ship out Brown, salary cap. Yeah.
All
That's
right,
kinda
I can see that.
that's kinda
Yeah,
kinda my
I'm on
thought.
the other side of the fence with that, but
Okay.
it's because like you said, Porzingis, his value on the court just it's amazing when he's on the court, but when he's off the court, he causes a lot of problems essentially.
Yeah.
And then Drew Holiday or Derek White, they're both like I said, amazing guards. Um, but if I had to sacrifice one of them, I could definitely put up Payton Pritchard to the starting role and be able to fill out that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean Brown, I would say a top 20 player in the league, and he does make mistakes, of course, but I think that he's still a valuable part of the Celtics. And having the Tatum and Brown combo still has worked really well as far as consistency goes.
Yeah. I yeah, it's a tough question. Good question. Very good question. But I think that will uh spark some attention and spark conversations. Again, this offseason in the whole league is going to be very fascinating. For the Celtics, especially too with salary cap, it's going to be very interesting. Let's I guess I don't know, move a little brighter. I mean, we're going to talk about the Eastern Western Conference Finals here. I mean, it's brighter in the sense that it's good basketball, it's fun basketball, but again, not seeing the Celtics in it, so, not great. But we got two series now. The Knicks Pacers series. So both series are Thunder are up 2-0. Pacers are up 2-0 in their series. Pacers Knicks, I've been keeping them more so than the Thunder Wolves. That series seems almost like it's finished to me. Could be wrong, but that kind of Ant has been great, but I think he's met his match with this full roster of the Thunder. This team is built different, really, like our podcast. It's built different, okay?
Yep.
But the Knicks Pacers has been fun, even though it is 2-0. You could argue the series is not over yet. I mean, the Pacers won at New York twice. The Halliburton thing. I don't know if you saw what he did at the end of the game one.
Oh yes,
I
did.
mean, he did three superstars in one. Okay, he pulled a KD with the toe line, had his foot on the line. He pulled a Kawhi with the bounce on the rim, and he pulled a Reggie Jackson. I saw that like on ESPN or something, like with the choke. Okay, with the choke. He's. I mean, I think ever since he was like rated the most, or like what was it? You remember like the reward?
I believe he got most. Is it overrated player?
Yeah, maybe most overrated player. I think ever since then, he's had a chip on his shoulder and been like, okay, like I'm gonna prove y'all wrong, essentially. And the Pacers actually have been one of the best teams since December. Besides the Thunder, they've had the best record in the NBA, which I didn't know at all. They were that.
No, they seem like a sleeper team, to be honest.
Very quiet, quiet. Good team. Let me see here. And then last night, Siakam had his playoff career high, 39 points. You forget he's a champion.
I forgot he was on the Pistons.
Yeah.
Whatever it's Pacers.
Yeah.
Can't even name the team.
Right. I mean, yeah, they're legit. I mean, obviously, the last two seasons they've been in the Eastern Conference Finals, so they are legit. And we'll see if this series is over as well. Obviously, if they win that game 3, it's over.
Did you get to see game 1 like happen in real time?
Game 1?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I did.
Yeah. Because I watched it and I was like, oh, this game's over. It's like 16, 17 points. And I was like, you know what? Let me watch it before going to bed. I get some entertainment.
Yeah.
And then I watch it and slowly, they keep hitting threes and taking the ball away, stealing. And I see the final play. I'm like, okay, it's getting real now.
Yep.
And so like you said, you see for Halliburton, the ball bounces up in the air. And like when it went up in the air in real time, like it felt like it was just out of a movie.
Hanging.
And then right in swish.
Yeah. You want to hear another crazy stat? No team that Pacers have been the first team in NBA history when they've been when NBA teams have been a minute down, or when NBA teams have been like 9+ down with a minute left to go, they've lost. The last 1,414 teams have lost when they've been down 9+ with a minute left, except this Pacers team. And one of the analysts on ESPN had mentioned, like, and it's funny because the Celtics lost 2 games in a row in the playoffs when they were up 20 in the third quarter. He said that this was the worst choke job in NBA history by the Knicks. Which I'm like, that is, I mean, you're up 14 with 2:51 left. Like, that's bad. Celtics is obviously really bad too. But 14, how do you give up 14 and 2:51? I don't know.
No.
But I guess my next question is for you, Eric. Out of these 2 series, what do you feel like is most likely either the Wolves or the Knicks? Who's more likely to get swept?
I'm gonna say between the 2 series, the Thunder have been first in the West. They've showed a lot of consistency, surprised me even. But you know, Shea Gillis is their MVP. They've had a lot of team chemistry, and I believe that on the other side, the Knicks still have a lot going for them. Even though they lost, those losses have been really close. And Jalen Brunson's the clutch player of the year. I saw him perform in real time, and his ability to just perform under pressure has been amazing. Even better than Damian Lillard, in my opinion. But he's been awesome, and I think that the Knicks can really push out and get through the series. Timberwolves, I'm not so hopeful on. Anthony Edwards, I don't think he has the core with him to do that. You know, I just don't think that Timberwolves have it this year. But my vote is for the Knicks to pull through this.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I have more likely to get swept in this series, the Wolves. Yeah, so I guess the same
Same thing.
answer, right? Yeah, and again, I haven't watched this series at all. I've just watched highlights and analysis and stuff on it. But again, the Thunder are the favorite. I mean, I would say pretty clearly to win it all. They have length. Their defense is insane. Chet Holmgren has been healthy, and now he's back in the lineup. SGA MVP. Yeah, they got a full roster, and they're young, and they've had experience last year where they got beat by the Mavericks, right? So they had that down, to help them to kind of resurrect their season this year. And yeah, I mean the Knicks. The Knicks. I mean, obviously they have to win Game 3. They have to. But I think they're more likely. They've been in these games twice. They've been close. I don't think the games with the Wolves and Thunder have been close at all. So I think definitely I have more likely that the Wolves get swept. But do you think? I know you mentioned that the Knicks they could come back and pull away. And are you saying that they would win? Do you think they could win the series still?
I'll be honest. So I'm actually rooting for the Knicks to go all the way,
Oh,
like NBA champs.
okay.
And the NBA, its headquarters in New York. New York is, of course, Boston's rival, but I've really come to admire this team. Jalen Brunson, he's one of my favorite guards in the league. Cat's one of my favorite centers in the league.
Yep.
And they just have a good, core around them as well. So I'm really pushing for them to make that leap, get into the finals, and win the ring. Even though they're against Boston, I still have a love for New York in my heart. So
because you're a Yankees fan too, that's why you got that Yankees gene in you. For I don't know why. But initially I was rooting for New York as well. I was like, props to them for kicking our butt, and just taking out the champs. I was like, the Knicks. It sounds, it's a feel good story. But now watching the series with the Pacers and Knicks and Halliburton and Siakam, I'm kind of trading here. I think first of all, right, Thunder are gonna make it to the finals. So if I'm thinking what's gonna be a better series, I think it would have to be Pacers. I think the Knicks may get pummeled. That's me. Maybe it's a hot take. I'm not saying sweep. Maybe a gentleman's sweep. Maybe a gentleman. I have a feeling they would get pummeled. And you can say the same thing for the Pacers, right? You could say that, like who are they going to have to match up against all these players on the Thunder? I just feel like they have been under the radar this whole season pretty much. And I think they will continue to be if they get out of the series with the Knicks. I think they will I would have the Thunder as favorite, but I think they could push them further to a game 7 than the Knicks would. And I just want to see good basketball at the end of the day. Celtics being gone. I just want to see good basketball. So I would like to see Pacers Thunder versus Knicks Thunder.
In any case, like all these teams, I think 2 of the teams have never won a championship, and the other 2 won more than 50 years ago.
Right.
So in my opinion, I think that whoever wins this NBA championship, there really is no, I wouldn't say loser, but there's like no bad case scenario. Because at the end of the day, one of these fan bases is getting something they've waited 50 plus years for.
I agree.
So even though I don't necessarily like some of these teams, if they do win, I'll be happy that they can have their moment of glory.
Yep. Totally agree. 100%. All these teams have fought hard and deserve to be where they are. They do. And so, yeah, there's no complaints. Whatever the finals looks like, I'm all here for it. Let's move on. All right. We have some results from our poll. You, Barely Friends fans, you have filled out, answered this poll on NBA questions, on who is, your dynamic duo of the year, who is the most underrated player, who is the most charismatic MVP. Now, some of these awards have already been, taken into account, like MVP, for instance. But we're still going to share what you, Barely Friends fans, have shared with us. So I don't even know the answers. Eric has kept them a secret from me, I'd like to be surprised. I'd like to be surprised. Good surprise is a good surprise. So Eric, why don't you take it away?
Yeah. So of course, I did this poll. I've gotten a good amount of responses. So I want to thank the Bailey Friends viewers for participating in this and giving us some shout outs. And of course, we know, right? We have the Olympics, the top of the sports world awards. And then you have the ESPYs. And then you got the Bailey Friends poll.
Exactly.
So
no one else.
So
top 3.
Yeah. To the winners of this poll, I just want to give a heartfelt congratulations and know that you are being one of the highest honors and stuff.
There we go.
All right. So our first category is for dynamic duo. And I'm gonna give a dramatic pause.
Oh yeah, sure. Actually, I'm gonna test something. I could totally muck this up, but I think we have drum roll maybe sound effect. That is not that. Well,
It is a drum, but
that's the wrong one. Here it is.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
I hope that goes into the video. So, let's see.
Yeah, and if you can't hear it, just know it's a drum roll.
It's a drum roll. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, but the winner is for dynamic duo, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
What? That's kind of bittersweet. That's kind of I mean, it is the right answer. It is the right answer, but it's tough to hear. Tough to hear after what happened in the series. But it is the right answer.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, throughout the season, they were the best duo. It's hard to really. A lot of times when we think of an NBA season, we sum it up as, all right, they lost, and here's how they lost. But you forget the journey to get to that point. And they were really successful on that journey. So I will say that, Tatum and Brown are still a dynamic duo and still one of the best in the league. So yeah. I think they deserve that reward.
Yeah, for sure. All right, what's next?
All right, next we got underrated player.
Okay.
So like dynamic duo, this had a very overwhelming vote towards a specific player.
Okay.
And our underrated player of the year is Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, just watching him in this playoffs, though, like he has to be. And I would have to think about a list of guards here, but you maybe argue he's a top 5 guard in the league the way he's been playing this year. I mean, since he's been on the Knicks, he's captured the hearts of Knicks fans, and he's been an amazing talent. And he's got a 3-point shot. He does a little bit of everything. But I think his toughness is probably the number one thing I would say. Not a big guard, I would say, at all in the league, but I think he has to be no longer underrated, but just rated. Okay, he's just got to be. He's one of those dudes that you'd want on a franchise.
Yeah,
So,
I think that the Knicks making this far in the playoffs has given him a lot of publicity in the sense that before the season started, a lot of people may have not known who Brunson is.
mhm,
But as I said before, I think he's one of the best players as far as being clutch. And that's really important when you have a team that's down and needs that boost momentum.
yes,
So I really appreciate his ability to stand up at that moment. And just keeping in mind that he actually finished 11th in MVP voting.
okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
or that was like the NBA ladder they did right before the season.
right,
But even being number 11, I might put him a little bit into the top 10. So he is underrated in the sense that he might be a little bit higher than he currently is seen it throughout the league.
yeah, but yeah, congrats to Brunson. You have been a stud this playoffs, and we'll see. Does Giannis go to the Knicks and make that team even? I don't know. I mean that may be a question actually later we'll have to discuss.
Yeah.
But let's move on. What's the next award? What's the next award?
All right, we got 2 left. Well, actually 3 left. So this one was very close.
Hmm.
This is for our worst executive/organization.
Okay, great.
And the worst organization is Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, congrats.
Congrats.
Congrats to Dallas. Oh man, I love talking about Dallas. I love talking about Dallas sports teams. I love about talking about the Cowboys. Yes. So this is talking about this year. We're talking about this year with
Yep.
the whole trade, right? But it may have got resurrected by 2 things. Nico Harrison, the general manager in Dallas. One, Lakers got bounced earlier. They got bounced the first round, right? First round exit.
Yeah.
But then they got the lottery pick, the number 1, the first pick. So Cooper Flag potentially a Maverick, or they trade it and they get a superstar from it. I don't know. I don't know if that was Nico's whole plan. I don't know what he did. I don't know what aura he had. But I don't know. He those 2 things happening kind of tilts it a little more even. But yes, still ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think that's why the poll was so close. Like I said, there was another franchise that was very close to being our worst organization.
Who was it? Curiosity.
Pelicans.
There we go. Yeah. Okay.
So it was very close. For Dallas, right? It did work out in their favor. And either 2 things happened. Something either very sketchy behind the scenes, or they just got very lucky because they had a 1% chance of getting that number 1 pick.
Right.
I don't think it does definitely in terms of the team's development in the future, it definitely is a big help to them and will save the franchise from a long rebuild, I would say. They're set probably for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
But it's more so that was one of those things we did something awful, but it still worked out in the end for us.
I know. And they have options, rebuild, or again, they can trade. And I think they have a roster capable of, if you get the right superstar, could make a run next year if they do that. So they have options now, and just wild. Again, remembering the moment, the instant that trade happened, biggest trade in sports history, it feels like, and what it's led to, and now we're here. So
yeah, essentially, is this pick gonna convert? Is it going to convert to Luka Doncic? And that's something that's very hard to do.
yeah,
I think that having the number 1 pick, Cooper Flag may end up being a cornerstone of the franchise. We'll see. He has to develop. But if they got pick 2 or 3, I would say that was still a failure of a season for them because you need a generational player in order to even get close to being Luka Doncic.
absolutely.
And that's the closest chance they have. So
Yep. So we'll see how things turn out for sure. Who's next?
all right, next we got charismatic player of the year.
Charismatic. All right.
All right, this one was also very close. It was almost a tie for third. I mean, a tie between three different players.
Okay.
All right, so our charismatic player of the year is Anthony Edwards.
Oh yeah, I see it.
I see it.
Wasn't he? Did he win it last year as well?
He did,
He
yeah.
did. I was gonna say that sounds familiar. That he won it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was at one point, talking about him being the next Jordan and stuff. I don't know right now with the way he's looking with the Thunder series, but charismatic, 100%. 100%.
He's charismatic, but I don't think he's the most charismatic.
Oh, so you have another take. Who would you have?
LeBron.
You know what? Yeah. Because it's not just, I think Ant is charismatic, like when he gets fired up and when he's, kind of in the moment with a team and, he's hitting the threes, he's yamming it on people. Like, he's really charismatic then. But like with the refs, he can, but LeBron, it's like everything. It's like everything. His aura is, charismatic. Anything. You bring up the GOAT conversation, forget about it. So
Anthony Edwards, he's not even mentioned in the GOAT conversation.
Sure.
He's too young, but still.
Was he was LeBron an answer in the close?
So it was of course Anthony Edwards won, but then right behind him was LeBron and Draymond Green.
Draymond, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much the big three. Charisma. Draymond, yeah, absolutely. Those are good answers.
And it can make an argument for Draymond because he really isn't that good of a player, to be honest.
Whoa. Huge take.
But yeah, he's still one of the most popular.
Yep.
So
yep.
No
shade. He's always got. He was on the TNT cast, just talking about the last game. So he's always got a face, always got something to say. But those are great answers. I love that. All right. This last one, we know who officially. Now the question is, did our fans get it right?
Let's see. All right, and the Barely Friends MVP for this year is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah. Got it right, no question. Was that a sweep? Was that kind of a sweep, or was there people who picked Jokic or?
Yeah, I mean Giannis got votes, Jokic got votes, but it was more so like most votes, like the majority of votes went towards Shai Gil, and then like 30% went to Jokic, 20% to Giannis, that kind of thing.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, again, he deserves it. He number one in the West, loaded West. He's had a statistically a fantastic season. I mean, if he can cap it off with a ring this season, I mean, the Clippers traded Paul George for SGA. And look at that.
And then a ton of picks as well.
Yeah, look what that turned out. Not too hot. So, congrats SGA. You are not only Barely Friends MVP, but the MVP. And we'll see how you do for the rest of the playoffs. So, all right, let's transition here into our what in the world. Eric, I'm going to start with you first because now it seems like there's always something now, and it makes sense. You are world renowned, Portugal renowned, with your albums, your music, and what you're doing there. There's something else now. Someone else shouted you out. Who is that?
Yeah. So this week I actually got a letter of recognition from the mayor of Boston.
Whoa. Okay.
So official citation, and it was congratulating me on my recent effort that I got my 2 songs Ocean Crystal Blue on the global top 10 charts in iTunes.
Okay.
So they recognized that, and I got that nice letter from the mayor.
Awesome, man. Congrats. That's another award. What do you got? Like 100 awards now or something? Like how many they're piling up? Where are you gonna put it now? Where are you gonna put it? That's crazy.
Yeah, right on the refrigerator.
There you go. Yeah. Replace my picture, right? Because my picture, my picture's up there. Just take that off. I shouldn't be on there. That's funny. You got something else though you want to share as well?
Yep. So we actually did mention Giannis early in the episode, and on Twitter the other day, or X if you call it that, he did a question and answer, and there was 2 questions he answered that caused a lot of trade rumors.
Okay.
So one person asked him, "What's your favorite team to play on the road?" And he said New York. And then another fan asked him, "Which city makes you the happiest outside of your hometown?" And he said Florida cities. So there's some speculation that he's interested in going to New York Knicks or the Miami Heat based on those answers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I'm picking one for him, if I were his agent, let's say. I'm going New York. I mean, look at where they've gotten so far this season. You had Giannis I mean, he's already in the East, but like to a weak East compared to the West. Along with Brunson, you I wonder, I don't know. I mean, I think you'd probably keep Randall. Well, no, sorry, Randall's gone. Cat. That's your big three, you say, theoretically. You're gonna make a huge push, and then like in that market in New York, I mean, you could also get scrutinized a ton. But Giannis, I think, can handle. He's already a champ, right? So Miami, I just don't think has enough around him to, Tyler Hero, okay. Duncan Robinson, yeah, it's not Bam Adebayo. They don't have enough to like want to. I think he wants to win now, and I think the Knicks are more built to win now than Miami. So
Yeah, I think the Bucks, they were just what, 5th or 6th seed in the East.
yeah, I got pummeled by the Pacers.
Oh yeah,
Remember the
definitely.
dad thing? Remember the dad?
Yeah, there's definitely more beef between them now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
game ball, the dad. What's next, you know? But Giannis, I think that if I was him too, I would also endorse going to New York. You know, he could be the face of this New York team. They've got a lot of great personalities. You know, Brunson, Cat. I think he would get along really well with them. And
Yeah.
he's literally in MVP form. He's top 3 in the league.
Yeah.
So having him go to New York would be a very phenomenal moment for the city and for him to be able to be back in the championship run.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, if the Celtics hopefully get back to their championship pedigree, wouldn't that be a fantastic Eastern Conference Finals? That would be fun. And again, my friend Jakku, we would be all love, but we'd be talking smoke to each other the whole time. So it'd be lots of fun. Lots of
Yeah.
fun.
My only advice to Giannis is stay out of the West because it is very stacked, loaded, and I don't think he'd fare as well on any team in the West.
Yeah, no, and I don't know like what team would fit him that well. I mean, all these teams again are loaded. He would have to go to like Spurs or something, and that's a possibility. But I don't know if he wants to go to San Antonio. I don't think that's really his ideal location. So we'll see what happens there. I got some Angel Reese stuff. You want to talk about Angel Reese
Oh yeah,
again? Oh boy, oh boy. I'm just gonna read here my notes verbatim. I wrote it. I didn't. I'm not a writer like you, so but forgive me if it sounds kind of gibberish. But this happens. One of they played each other recently. So Caitlin Clark commits a hard foul on Angel Reese. I consider a basketball play, and Angel comes after her and looks, like she wants to pick a fight. Clark did not want any of it and just backed away. A flagrant foul was awarded. Reese said afterwards, and I quote, "Basketball play, refs got it right, move on." Nick Wright, who's like a Fox Sports analyst, sports talk host, he said that Angel Reese is a quote wildly famous rebounder, which I guess I guess that could be a compliment, but I don't think it was meant that way. I don't know. I don't know if you watched that play in particular, but it was nothing crazy. Like nothing. Like it was a hard foul. Like she swiped at it, but it's not. It wasn't just not to get a layup. Angel Reese would have gotten an easy layup if she didn't do that. But then Angel Reese comes like stands up and like just starts barking at Clark. Clark just is walking away like I fouled her hard. Like I got it, and then they awarded that flagrant foul, which I thought was like nothing to the head. It was all arms, like she flopped and over exaggerated. So a little too much extracurricular from Reese. And but I think this could be a good thing for the WNBA. This rivalry between Reese and Clark, and the noise it's kind of making out of it. Do you agree with that?
I agree. It's definitely bringing good attention to the league. I think that Caitlin Clark, of course, is right now the face of the NBA, WNBA, and Reese right now is still kind of riding on that like tail. Yeah.
Coattail.
I mean, she has the NCAA championship, but like you're a pro now. Like it's cool. It's an amazing honor. But now you're a pro. Like you got to make sure that you like reach that same level of success that you had in college and now contribute it to the WNBA. I know she's got deals with McDonald's. She's done a lot of publicity events. But right now, to me, she's not like a top tier player as far as like being the face of the league.
Yeah, no, and I even if she were better talent, let's say, I don't think. Um, I guess I'm just gonna say it, the way I think it is. Her maturity is there to where she could be the face of the league. Um, I think like leadership is a big part of being the face of the league, any sports organization and stuff. That's why LeBron is still like the face, because like off the court he doesn't do anything. Really, he just maybe a little too charismatic at times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. Yeah, she's just gotta kind of do her own thing, work on her game, like and I don't know, see where that goes. But I think having this attention based on Clark or someone else, or not something that may not be good thing, at all. Um, gotta work on that, I think. So
Yeah, I think you really summed up with maturity. Like, I really like Zion Williamson as a player, but I think the same thing. Like, he has to mature as well, and if he does that, he'll be in better eyes within the league. In the sense that, like, these players like Reese Williamson, they just need to take on that leadership role.
absolutely, 100% maturity is key. Let's move on to our final mailbag segment. Eric, we kind of talked about the first question, so NBA final. We talk about that. Let me ask you this. I want to ask you more about wreckage. When and where are you gonna have your first concert? Is it gonna be at the Vegas Sphere or in Portugal, your homeland, or the Festa? Where is it gonna be? When will that happen?
Hmm. So actually, funny enough, I did get offered last year to play the Feast. Yeah.
And you told him I'm too big for the feast. I'm not gonna. Nope.
I was at the Feast, but once I give it another year to soak in, I had my big album release this year.
Yep.
So I just really want to hone my craft and just kind of like really enjoy the Feast in that moment. But maybe in the future I'll come up and do a special guest appearance,
Sure.
something crazy. And this summer I'm supposed to go to the Spear in Vegas
Oh, you are.
to go see the Backstreet Boys.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
That's gonna. Oh, don't tell my aunt that, because I'm pretty sure she wanted to really go, but she's like, too much money and stuff.
So I'll let them know, like, hey, E-Record's gonna be there. If you guys want like a 6 vocalist, like,
Yeah. Back up the Backstreet Boys. That would be really cool. All right, cool. Something maybe coming up. All right,
Yep.
Gotcha. What are questions for me?
Yes. So I have 2 questions. My first question is, what city feels like a second or third home for you? So like you visit it once or twice and just feels like it's home to you.
Yeah, I'll say Fall River. Just kidding. I mean, if New Bedford's my first home, definitely Providence. Definitely Providence, my second home. Went there at college. Pretty much working up in that area. I go to church up in that area too. So I think definitely a second or third home. Maybe will be my first home soon. I don't know. I don't know. But definitely Providence. If I were to say just if I visited one place and I would want to make it my home or interested in making my home, I'd say Toronto, Canada. Toronto, Canada. I vacationed there, just like for a week and stuff. But it was awesome. I went up the Needle, like Seattle Needle and stuff, but it's called the CN Tower. It's much bigger. That was probably the worst experience for me. Just I'm not a heights guy, so I faced my fears, and I guess I conquered them. But I was,
And you
I
can
was
see the
trembling.
bottom of the ground like through the
yeah through the freaking elevator, dude. I'm like, why did they? It's already high. Like I don't need to see all the way at the bottom. Just make it anyway. So that's I'll say Toronto would be another choice.
Gotcha. So my family actually bought a home in Inverness, Florida. So very soon that's gonna be my second home.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to going down there sometime. It's essentially a retirement community, like
Okay.
very peaceful, very small town feel.
They have
But
any golf courses nearby? I mean,
our house is actually gonna be like next to the golf course.
No way. Oh, don't tell Ty that. He's gonna want to go every summer. Oh, that's sick. That's
Yeah.
sick.
So looking forward to that, and of course, although this is like a formal broadcast, like I'm sure we'll invite you off screen as well.
All right, I'll take it. I guess.
Yeah.
You got one more question there.
All right, and looking at the future, and I'm looking at like the far future, like 5, 10, 15 years from now.
Yeah.
What do you want to see the NBA accomplish or do in that time?
I just in my head thought of an answer. But I think it's a little immature, so I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I think it's kind of funny, but I'm not gonna say it. I don't know. I mean, can you can they are they able to incentivize not shooting threes as much? I don't know. I mean, obviously that's really hard and probably won't happen. I don't know. Maybe one thing could be lessen the schedule, like legitimately lessen how many regular season games there are. You just look at the NFL, right? With 18 games, they increase by one week, but how many they like every weekend is like a must, you know, like it's like, oh, like if that was the NBA, like I'd be watching like like my intake of NBA games would skyrocket. So I'd say that's one thing. I know that's been like a discussion throughout the league and throughout executives and players and stuff, but I would consider less games. And it sounds like, oh, but don't you want to watch more basketball? Yeah, I do, but like because it's less games, I'll actually watch more. Not because there's more games, So
Yeah, if there was like 100 NFL games, like you probably wouldn't watch as much.
No. And I mean, I don't know what team would be left standing in NFL if there were 100 teams. I think there would be like you had to have college teams play.
Yeah, but you're right. Sometimes less is more. So that's like a good point. And for myself, I don't necessarily have a specific thing I want to see in the future. But if I were to pick one, I would say I want to see some expansion teams possibly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know Seattle could use a team. Maybe Louisville or one of those communities in the Midwest, Mideast. And also All-Star Weekend. Like I just feel like it needs more aura.
Yeah, those are two great points. We'll have to talk about that in another episode more in depth. What could improve? I think we talked about that All-Star Weekend and kind of maybe some ideas, but there needs to be definitely changes there. And especially, I want to see the Supersonics back, dude. I don't care. I really don't care. That would be sick. And then Vegas probably having a team, right? Because Vegas is always now getting teams, so that'd be cool too. Well, that's going to conclude the Barely Friends episode. Much more of a happier ending than the beginning of the show, for sure. My name's Isaiah.
My name's Eric.
Thank you guys for watching. We will see you next time. Have a good one. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Yep.